The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre a la para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Yes, you're in the right place.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally believable as always.
So this past week, we hit 50,000 subscribers on YouTube.
We did. Yep.
To commemorate the event, we went live today to do a Q&A.
Yeah, talked some more shit.
We answered a lot of the questions people left and then answered some questions in the chat. So I think people should check it out. I thought it went pretty well.
Oh, yes.
All right, moving on. So you know Lil Bow Wow. He goes by Bow Wow
now. It's just Bow Wow. Yeah.
You know, he's only 38.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up alongside each other.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he's still quite young.
Still remember him Lottery Ticket with Loretta Devine.
Anyway, he was on Club Shay Shay.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to talk about Shannon Sharp this week.
Okay.
The only thing I'm going to bring up is that, of course, Bow Wow has a very close relationship with Jermaine Dupri. And Shannon asked Jermaine about, you know, what is it like being around Janet Jackson? And he said that he thought Janet was the greatest. He kind of referred to her as his stepmother. He talked about how, like, she's really down to earth, that she kept a private jet on deck. Like,
oh, that's down to earth.
Well, because he goes, you know, she would stay in hotels like, you know, the Ritz-Carlton, you think like the penthouse is like the nicest suite they have. She would stay in like the room above that. Like would stay in like the nicest places, always had a private jet on deck. So it was really fun being around her, but also like she'd be in these fancy suites doing her own dishes. But he said that she was really a cool person, that like if she wanted some tacos, she would get in her car and drive herself to the taco shop and walk in and get them. And I like that that's his like marker for what a down-to-earth person.
Right.
But of course, it's always fun to hear people talk about her. He also said that he hopes that JD will get back with her. And the way he was talking about it was like JD broke up with Janet. Because Shannon says something like, well, why did he leave her? And Bow Wow kind of phrased it like, wow, that's not how it went. And that the way he was talking, it made it seem like Jermaine was the one who decided they shouldn't be together. So
right.
Sure, girl. Okay, whatever. But I just thought I'd bring it up since someone mentioned.
I haven't. Well, his name is Shad Moss. Yeah.
Although, you know how people like to say celebrities' real names? How Little Bow Wow's real name is Boward Woward. That makes me laugh every time I see it.
His last movie was Hip Hop Family Christmas Wedding.
Oh.
In 2022. And Tamar is in it.
Oh, that's going to be a secret movie. And here, let me add that to my list. What is it called?
It's called Hip Hop Family Christmas Wedding from 2022. It's a TV film. And Jermaine Dupri's also in it as a character named Omar Big Dog Harris.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of that, well, don't let me forget that for a secret film, you looked up some of the supporting cast and like other roles they've been in and the characters they played.
Oh, in today's secret film?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember.
Oh, and I also don't want to forget that for this secret film today, I wanted you to read some of the Letterboxd.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll have to bring that up.
So don't forget that I'm going to ask you to do that. But moving on, I didn't know that Pharrell, the musician producer, Pharrell Williams, that he had filmed his live action musical biopic. Because I guess there's like a Lego movie called Piece by Piece. Is that about him?
Yeah, and we didn't watch that.
Oh, I had no clue that there was a Lego movie about
Well, I
him.
asked you when it came out if you wanted to cover it, and you said no.
Oh, well, I mean, I still don't want to watch it. But I didn't realize that there was a live action musical biopic about him called Golden that was filmed, starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., Halle Bailey, Davine Joy Randolph, Brian Tyree Henry,
Oh,
on
shit,
and on.
okay.
Yeah, Janelle Monáe, Missy Elliott, Quinta Brunson, they're in it. But it got scrapped because as they were doing post-production, like in the editing room, they realized that this was not going to live up to what he had originally envisioned. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That they filmed this whole ass movie and it wasn't good enough.
And he was like, nah.
And then lastly in this section, so Terrence Howard was on whatever show Bill Maher hosts.
Oh, God. You know what?
Did you read about this?
Oh, you briefly talked about it. You know, I met him and I did a roundtable interview with him.
Yes, I do know that.
back
But I've heard other people talk about him and say that he just says off the wall crazy shit.
Seemed crazy.
But he said that he passed up on a chance to play Smokey Robinson.
Was it Smokey Robinson or Marvin Gaye?
No, both. So
shit, okay.
So he turned down an opportunity to play Marvin Gaye because he was in talks with Lee Daniels to do a Marvin Gaye biopic. But then he said that he was at Quincy Jones' house once and was talking about it and asked Quincy like that he had heard rumors that Marvin Gaye was gay, and that Quincy told him yes, he was. So he ended up turning down that opportunity because he didn't want to play a gay character and said that he could never
I can never do
kiss
that
a
to
man.
myself. Okay.
And if
Terrence.
he did that, I would cut my lips off.
Okay, girl.
And then went on to say that he just couldn't do it because he wouldn't be able to fake it. Like he couldn't do a role that he doesn't understand.
Okay, this man at the roundtable interview I was at with him, he had a periodic chart in front of him, and he told us all that he was rewriting it of the elements. And then he also was talking some bullshit about his pink diamond mine in South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm only bringing it up because it's like, ugh, I guess I have to. But
Do you remember he screwed himself out of a Marvel universe because he was in the first Iron Man and he demanded more money for Iron Man 2 and they said no and hired Don Cheadle.
I almost feel like Terrence Howard is in the Kanye West category for me. Like I think he has mental health issues,
I think so,
and it's just like,
which is it's too bad because Hustle and Flow he's amazing in that. But and he, you know, I didn't mind him in The Butler with Oprah either. But whatever.
Moving on to more positive things. 5 on the black hand side.
Oh, but speaking of which, I saw a clip this week of Ben Affleck talking about how he feels he was working through his own internalized homophobia when he filmed Chasing Amy, the Kevin Smith film, and how he felt so weird kissing Jason Lee in that. And Ben Affleck said he's like, there's no reason that I shouldn't have been able to act that. And he's like, I hope, he's like, I'd be nice to get the opportunity again one day. I mean, come on, we're all adults. Let's just grow. Aren't you acting?
Okay, 5 on the black hand side. 5 black filmmakers who are not Tyler Perry. Who's up first?
Halle Berry. Why, you say? Because she is a directress now, and she spent many years, and I thought poured her heart and soul into Bruised, which you saw as well.
Yeah.
I thought, I think that she's definitely the draw in it, but I thought she did a pretty good job pulling that all together because that was a role that required a lot of physicality, and she's strikes me as someone that always kind of goes in maybe a little too hard sometimes, but yes. And the premiere that I saw of that at the AFI Film Festival, it was one of the rare things that I stayed and listened to the Q&A afterwards. Ava DuVernay interviewed her. after the world premiere.
Next.
Tim Story, who you've seen many of his films. Barbershop, of course, is a classic. And then I think because of Barbershop, he got to do the early 2000s Fantastic Four films, the ones with Jessica Alba.
Oh.
He also did the 2 Think Like a Man films. And I think what his best work to me is the 2019 reboot of Shaft.
Yes.
Which I think is a lot of fun. I've actually seen that one a couple times. I went back and rewatched the John Singleton one, I think, from 2000 has aged well also.
Next.
Denzel Washington. Who Familiar. I've still never seen Antoine Fisher, and Yolanda Ross is in that.
Oh.
Great Debaters we have and own. Fences, of course, is, must see for Viola Davis. And when Journal for Jordan came out with Michael B. Jordan.
Jesus. Are we drinking? What's
yes,
happening?
We are. The press, was that Warner Brothers? They were all sketch about press screenings for that. And so I didn't see it. And I've been meaning to watch that. Anyway.
Next.
So then the next 2 are kind of linked inextricably, but there's Malcolm Washington, of course, son of Denzel, who only has 1 film under his belt, The Piano Lesson, which is, of course, an adaptation of the August Wilson play, who I think we were both kind of feeling mid about it, except for fantastic Danielle Deadwyler, but still worth seeing.
And last but not least.
And last, because of that previous connection, we have Lloyd Richards, who was the first to adapt August Wilson's play, The Piano Lesson, with Alfred Woodard and Charles S. Dutton, it's a version I prefer. But he also directed a couple, one adaptation of a Philip Hayes Dean play called Freeman that was adapted by Paul Mooney. And then he also directed a one-man show with James Earl Jones starring as Paul Robeson, who I think, you should be familiar with him. Anyway.
Moving on to the restaurant section, we went to a place in Santa Monica called The Misfit, which we had been to before.
For drinks before an office Christmas party, yeah.
And the only reason we were in that area, Santa Monica, is because that's where we went to go see Rust, the infamous Alec Baldwin film, which we just uploaded a review on YouTube for. It's not playing in many theaters.
No, it's just unfortunate that no one's promoting that, and yet, it was a film that had to be finished and released, and there it is.
But The Misfit, it's this really cool spot, kind of like one of the side streets off 3rd Street Promenade.
Well, because 3rd Street Promenade is, ugh.
Wow. I think after the pandemic, a lot of those places, I shouldn't say that because I haven't been that many times in the past few years. And also today was kind of a gloomy, rainy, drizzly day. But it was kind of sad on the 3rd Street Promenade. Either way, the restaurant was popping because they have happy hour every day until 7.
As they should.
And we got there at 3:34?
Yeah.
And I have to say, I don't have the occasion to be in Santa Monica often, but I would definitely go back there again.
Yeah, I enjoyed the food. We tried their fried chicken sandwich and was it called a smash burger?
And we ordered some fries, and that was the biggest bowl of fries I've received in a long time.
$11. I mean, they gave us 2 different sauces, maybe a tablespoon of each. It's like, this fry salad requires a lot more.
They just need to bring a bottle of ketchup.
Bring me that ketchup.
But, the restaurant's cute, so I think they were trying to be classy. But yeah, I like The Misfit.
I fit right in.
Films released we didn't cover. Bonjour Tristesse.
God, I tried to get you to watch this, and you rebelled hard, but out of all this, and I actually kind of liked it. And I like the original Preminger adaptation starring Gene Seberg and Deborah Carr and David Niven, which is an adaptation of the Françoise Sagan novel. It's been updated by Durga Chu Bose, which I believe premiered at TIFF last fall. Lily McInerney is the lead, and Chloe Sevigny stepping into the Deborah Carr shoes, and Clace Bang as the David Niven role. I have to say, I thought it was quite good. I thought Chloe was quite captivating.
Okay. Next, Daydreamers.
I don't think you read my email about this one, but we did cover a lot of things and did not fit this Vietnamese vampire movie and directed by Timothy Lin Bui, which sounds interesting. And if you are craving more vampires after Sinners, and if you're in a city where this is playing, maybe check it out.
Projects of interest. Bad Lieutenant Tokyo.
Yeah, Takashi Miike. I think he's already started filming in the Bad Lieutenant universe. I have no idea how that's going to relate. I haven't watched a Miike film in a while, so that's exciting for him to have a high profile project, because he used to. I still think he, cracks out a film or two a year sometimes, but yeah, he's getting older now.
And Bunker.
Florian Zeller, who is a well-renowned novelist and screenwriter, I believe he's Swiss. I did not like his debut, which was an adaptation of his play The Sun, starring Hugh Jackman. In fact, I kind of loathed that film. However, he's moving on to a new project starring Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem, of course, a famously married couple. And I think it's about a married couple who, as the title would suggest, something to do with a bunker. And I think the wife begins to question, does she really know her husband based on some choices he's making?
This past week on our Patreon, we reviewed The Last Circus, so people can check that out. Unfortunately, there are entries in the obituary section.
People died.
Ruth Buzzi, an American actress and comedian.
Yeah.
She died at the age of 88.
She did the voice of Mama Bear and the Berenstein Bears, and you might also recognize her from the original Freaky Friday with Jodie Foster.
And then the singer Jill Sobule, she died in a kind of, it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
It was a house fire, and apparently, I think it's under investigation because
in Woodbury, Minnesota.
Yeah, so that's too bad. But she had some songs on the Clueless soundtrack.
I Kissed a Girl, no relation to the Katy Perry song. I played a clip of it for you. I remember that song, but yeah.
And Priscilla Pointer died at the age of 100.
Yeah, she was up there. She was, of course, Amy Irving's mother, which means she, at one point, was Steven Spielberg's mother-in-law. She played Amy Irving's mother in Carrie, Sue Snell's mom, which is probably what I most closely associate with her. But genre fans probably also recognize her from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and, of course, David Lynch's Blue Velvet, which is my top 10 of all time. So yeah, Priscilla has passed.
The secret film this week was my choice, and I chose the 2001 American dance film Save the Last Dance, directed by Thomas Carter.
Yes, who we profiled, I believe, on 5 on the Black Hand Side at one point.
Why did I choose this film? I have never seen it.
Same.
And people have brought it up many times. And of course, clips of the lead, Julia Stiles, doing her hip hop dancing goes viral every now and then. So I thought it might be a fun choice.
It was. We laughed a lot.
Yeah. What is it about? A white Midwestern girl moves to Chicago where her new boyfriend is a black teen from the South Side with a rough semi-criminal past.
Semi-criminal.
This film, I don't think it works, but it's not a train wreck. I think based on the clip that's always shown of her rehearsing her hip hop number for her Juilliard audition, because there are two clips that people always show. The one where she's like in a train, like by a train track, dancing with her headphones on, and then another one where she's actually doing the rehearsal. I assumed this was going to be like the most lame of jokes, and it's not that terrible.
It's like a TV film.
It feels like a TV movie. The soundtrack, though, is popping.
Yeah, they spent a lot. I assume they spent a lot of money on that soundtrack, but
Because, this movie, 2001, I know all these songs. So I thought it was really good. But if this movie had generic, like hip hop music for like a made for TV movie, it would be,
well, you know what it would feel like? Breakin',
sure.
because that is kind of similar beat by beat. You have a white girl, Lucinda Dickey, who is classically trained, and she asks those characters, Turbo and Ozone, Michael Chambers and Adolfo Quinones, to, teach her urban dance, and then she falls in love with Ozone, and it ends with an audition.
So the story, Julia Stiles plays this character named
Sarah Johnson. Could we be more dull?
She studies ballet. She lives with her mother. They seem to have a nice, middle-class life.
Her super duper supportive mom. Mm-hmm.
And on a day, she is going into the city to audition to be in Juilliard. Which that first audition, the sign that says like Juilliard,
is spelled wrong.
They spell it incorrectly. But anyway.
That's like sibling rivalry.
So Sarah, Julia Stiles' mom, I think runs like a flower shop, and she's telling her daughter like, oh, we're so busy. Like, I can't go with you. I'll have to meet you there. And Julia is like, I can't do it unless you're there. I need your like support. I don't know. But the way Julia's acting is like, she's acting like her mom's going to be in the audience of this audition when clearly that is not what's supposed to happen.
That's not supposed to happen. Mm-hmm.
So we see Julia Stiles auditioning, and she fumbles it. And at that same time, we see her mother driving frantically on the freeway because she's running late. Mm-hmm. And the mom gets into a fatal car accident. Mm-hmm. So we flash forward some time and see that Julia Stiles has to move in with her estranged father, Roy, mm-hmm. who lives in Chicago, apparently in like not a very nice neighborhood, because the high school Julia Stiles ends up in is like, I mean, it just feels like such a stereotype, but I don't know. I don't know what high schools in the south side of Chicago were like in the early 2000s. But she's there, and she's like the only white person. Immediately, she's befriended by Kerry Washington, Chenille, and is sort of in her English class confronted by Derek, played by Sean Patrick Thomas,
mm-hmm, who's kind of fresh off Cruel Intentions and another interracial romance.
And Derek and Chenille are brother and sister.
Mm-hmm. And hang out all the time.
They hang out all the time. So they end up becoming friendly, specifically going to this nightclub called Steps, mm-hmm. which they're able to get into because they procure fake IDs. And apparently this nightclub is only filled with high school students who have fake IDs.
This club is not for adults.
We need to talk about mm-hmm. it. But then the story takes an interesting turn that I'm still not quite sure on, because Derek, who's this very bright young man who has aspirations to go to Georgetown and eventually become a pediatrician, he makes it his like full-time job, it would seem, to teach Julia Stiles how to hip hop. And I mean,
it's, yes, they're training not for contests. It's to go to Steps every weekend, and so that she doesn't embarrass him. I don't know.
Right. We can talk more.
They're going hard on the training. I don't understand.
But their love apparently is blossoming. That's another problem I have with the story. I don't really see their connection at all. But
same. We only see them defending it. We don't actually see them spending any time having chemistry together, except for a scene where they're performing on a train for a racist white lady.
Which we'll get back to, because I thought it was a cute moment. But, of course, this being a romantic, coming-of-age drama, there is a turning point at the beginning of the final act where they essentially break up. And we also need to talk about how this story handles race, because I think it's kind of like like an addendum of sorts.
Well, that and Teen Moms, and that's why it feels like TV Movie of the Week. And the person,
Drug use and
it was written by Dwayne Adler, who's a white man, and Cheryl Edwards. And Ms. Edwards also wrote that Halle Berry movie, Frankie and Alice, where she played multiple personality disorder, DID, one of her personalities being racist.
But Julia Stiles and Sean Patrick Thomas break up because he feels like she doesn't understand him. And then,
because she's fragile, because she can't handle the pressure of dating a black man. Mm-hmm.
And also Kerry Washington sort of digs into her, like, you should understand your place as a white girl in our community.
Right.
Although that sort of conversation was sort of enhanced by the fact that Carrie's baby daddy, who we need to get to, had just dogged her out, so she was in her feelings.
And I think that's a key example of how this film is written, with these teenagers articulating things in a way that I think would transpire amongst people a decade older.
But then Chenille talks to her brother and then convinces him to reconcile with Julia Stiles
in the literal nick of time.
In the nick of time, because we see that Juilliard has come to Chicago to recruit. They have auditions. So he's like, well, I have to be there to support her, because earlier in the film, he had been telling her, like, I'm going to be there for you. So while she does two performances. She does one that appears to maybe be like, show us your classical ballet skills. And then the second performance is supposed to be like the more creative performance. And so he runs in as she's kind of flubbing the second performance, and that we need to talk about that, because that was so crazy ridiculous. And then she does the famous dance with the chair.
Oh, it's not
and
good.
Then the most corny moment of all is the bitchy gay man, who I guess is like the head person running the audition. He tells Julia Stiles, after she does her whack ass performance, I shouldn't be saying this, but welcome to Juilliard.
No, yeah, exactly. No, you shouldn't be saying that, sir.
And so I guess all's well that ends well.
I mean, it stumbles hard, because there's a little bit of sweetness to it. I don't mind Julia Stiles. It falls hard on its face. Yeah.
Okay, so overall, I don't think this is a good movie.
No.
It's serviceable. I enjoyed watching it. In fact, this would be something that if we were playing at a theater, it would be fun to go to with people and laugh, maybe.
I want to see the Mike Lee version of this.
And really the only reason I'd want to see it in a theater is to hear the songs with big sound, maybe.
Sure.
Okay, I'm just going to start going through my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, Julia Stiles comes across as like a little baby to me, because she's like, I need my mommy there to support me. And it's like, bitch, you're at your audition for Juilliard. And then when she gets on stage to do her performance, it's your typical, theater performance where you have like three people watching you in a huge space and all the seats are empty besides them. And she's looking out there as if her mother would just be sitting in the audience.
Uh-huh.
Like, are you dumb? Your mom is not going to be allowed to just sit in the audience. But I know it's supposed to be an emotional moment, but like watching Julia dance and fumble while her mom gets into that terrible car accident was a little corny.
That car accident, that was straight out of like V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic.
But then we see Julia Stiles on the train headed to Chicago. And when she gets, well, first of all, the man who picks her up from the train station, we're like, well, who is this? Is this like her long
He's giving uncle vibes. Terry Kinney, yeah.
Roy. And then he brings her back to his shitty apartment, and he clearly was not really ready for her.
At all.
At all. Which you already know. I have strong feelings about that. Like, do not invite me. Like, if you know I'm coming, please make sure to show me that you were waiting for me.
But that's a plot point.
I know, because he was clearly not a good dad. But he has her sleeping on the couch, even though he has like a bedroom set up for her. But the bedroom, this apartment needs to be...
The walls look like they're inhaling fungus for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't have time, which I think is funny, because later on in the film, when he realizes he needs to step up as the dad, he gets that room together in what appears to be like an afternoon.
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that you got this wall fixed, painted, bed put in there, that?
It's furnished, and he's like, careful, the wall's still wet. I'm like, there's a literal bed pushed against the wall, sir.
Well,
what do you mean?
Then it's not ready. Don't
show it to me
don't
yet.
show it to her tomorrow.
You big dum-dum. Oh, God.
But it's like he fixed that room up so fast. But it's like you had her here all this time. And you couldn't take the 3 hours it took you to do this.
Well, and then he's like this struggling musician who we never hear anything from, or what. There's
no development for the dad except that he was like a Rolling Stone, I guess, which is so stereotypical of like a musician.
And I guess works at night, but then he's not home during the day.
Yeah, what does he do during the day?
I don't know.
He tries to feed her these Hungry Man meals, and I thought it was so funny because.
Well, that freezer was a wreck.
Well, the freezer was a wreck, and he had all these Hungry Man meals, but he tells her, I have every style.
He has every Julia style.
If you describe food as style, that's not real food.
Yeah.
That's like saying, like, which flavor do you like? And you go red. That's not food. That's not made from real things. If that's how you're describing it. So we get to Julia Stiles' new school.
Juilliard style.
And it's straight up like out of Dangerous Minds or Lean on Me or what's that one with Pam Grier?
Class of 1999, I think. Yeah.
It's metal detectors. It's
total
security
anarchy.
guards. Yeah, it's total anarchy. People fighting, screaming. And she gets into class and the teacher's trying to talk about Truman Capote.
The teacher's talking about Truman Capote, and some fool straight up uses the F slur.
He's like, Truman Capote, he was a straight up fag. Like, oh, okay.
And then the teacher's just like, ha ha, you're dumb. Hey, it's 2001, kids. That's how it was.
But then that's when Julia Stiles pipes up because I guess none of these kids know anything. So she luckily knows something. So she starts talking about Truman Capote's writing style. But then Derek pipes up and says, like, you don't know anything. You need
Capote's his new style of writing that he created with In Cold Blood scared white people. That's what he's claiming is important about it. And she says, yeah, it's both things. He's like, yeah, but nobody reads James Baldwin, and that shuts her down.
So then she makes friends with Chenille. They have lunch. They hang out. She invites her. She introduces her to her crew and then talks to her about this club, Steps.
What was that black club that we live by in Westchester where they did? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, where they stepped?
Yes.
So, yeah, what was that called?
We joked about going in there so many times.
Like the Chicago style of stepping.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I have to look that up. See, now I'm going to be distracted.
Sorry, that's what was coming to my mind.
Now I need to know.
I just want you to know.
Yeah, what was that step-in club?
We never did go.
Okay, I got to get off that. I'll figure it out.
Because what was in that plaza? Is it Magic
There was a
Johnson?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Did Magic Johnson own all that shit?
That was the plaza across the way with Starbucks and TGI Fridays.
Yes.
And Ralph's.
We get coupons for that Fridays and go in there.
Well, we had coupons and the happy hour wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
But that parking lot was like on lock.
Yes.
You would think we were at like a celebrity event just to park by the TGI Fridays.
I think a lot of that shit closed because that Starbucks, they used to have chess tournaments there.
Yeah, that was like the community Starbucks.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of charm to it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked that little area. But no,
yeah, it was cute.
Where that step-in club was like El Pollo Loco, Chuck E. Cheese. Wasn't there like a Wingstop?
Yeah.
There was a 99-cent store.
Didn't do it. I didn't go in there.
A nail shop.
Chipotle.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Ralph.
So Chenille tells Sarah, Kerry Washington tells Julia Stiles, give me $20. I need to get you a fake ID. So you can go to this club called Steps. And when she sees her fake ID,
she's like, I can't. She's ugly. She's fat.
She's ugly. She's fat.
And Chenille goes, she's 21. And then she goes, tell me, how do you think, what do you think about my outfit? And Kerry Washington squirrels her way into somebody's car like, ooh, you look country.
Okay, I'm so confused because they make this school seem like it's the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go into PE class, and it's a very nice gymnasium, and they have a balance beam.
I don't understand how physical education works there, because Julia Stiles starts doing her ballet shit on the balance beam, and it's like, is everybody using the balance beam? Because they have one other girl. They have the girl named Diggy. We need to get back to her.
Diggy, the other white girl.
The other white girl.
The down-ass white
she's
girl.
Down. Don't challenge her about it. And
the PE teachers try to make her climb the rope. And she's like, your upper body. We need to work on it every day.
She's like, you haven't been working on your upper body, Diggy.
Which makes me think of that Arthur spoof. She's like, you got to take a shower every day, okay?
It makes me think of Rod Digga. And then, but it's like, why Julia Roberts is getting praised by the PE teacher? Now all the other girls are agog about her skills. It's like, but why? Why is she on there right now? Is this just like a free day where anybody can do whatever they want in the gym?
Right.
What's happening?
And then they have a friend. I think it's one of Derek's friends named, is it Snook?
Snooky.
The Coochie Crook?
The Coochie.
Snooky, the Coochie Crook.
Who kind of reminds me of Jarrell Jerome. But Snooky is the one who supplies the fake IDs and also DJs
that's right.
as a minor at Steps.
Snooky is the DJ at Steps.
Mm-hmm.
This adult nightclub is run by teenagers.
I don't know. There ain't no way.
How is the teenager the DJ? And we haven't even gotten to the best part of some of the kids who go to Steps. But I also wanted to mention, after Kerry Washington sees Julia Stiles on the balance beam, she goes, girl, how you get your leg to twist like that?
Oh my God.
I hated Kerry Washington.
So this was her first major role. I read that she told somebody in an interview, was it Oprah? She told somebody that her earnings allowed her to buy a laptop. And she was working as a substitute teacher. Okay, I think Carrie looks great, but that hair is raggedy, because there are two scenes where she has her hair covered. One in like a bandana, and the other one she's got a hat on. It's like, oh, she looks beautiful, but that hair is not it.
I don't understand her hair. She does not look like a high school student. She looks like a 35-year-old woman.
And she's talking like that.
And she's speaking like a 35-year-old woman.
Oh, Chenille. And the clothing. Oh, my God. And then, so Chenille and Derek's mom, I'm assuming that's their mother, Mama Dean, who looks like...
Well, no, that's their grandma.
That's their grandma. That's right. Their mom's gone. Mama Dean looks like a cross between Maya Angelou and Esther Roll.
And Mama Dean is real excited to watch that baby. Oh, we didn't mention Chenille has a baby.
Yes.
And her baby daddy,
oh my God,
is for sure older than I am.
He was like that guy out of Ab Fab. Like, I wonder what is holding up the ceiling.
He looked like, I mean, there's no way that man's under 50 years old. And she's supposed to be a senior in high school.
Working for Pepsi.
That was really off-putting. Anyway,
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Okay, the villain. So there are two villains, I guess, of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Derek, his best friend is played by Friedro Starr.
Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
Who also looks very mature for a high school student.
And he is the local drug dealer, Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
And this man has... It's not like, oh, he just sells drugs at school. He is snapping on fools at Steps.
Yes, and no one's stopping him.
Like, he's running Step. Like, no, they have big old security in there. They don't do shit.
Nope.
So he is an influence over Derek. And then Derek's ex, played by Bianca Lawson,
Who looks beautiful, even with that 2001 hairstyle.
Richard Lawson's daughter.
Nikki.
She seems to have a problem with Julia Stiles because she's white. Apparently.
Well, at this point in her life, Nikki is trying to get back with Derek after she threw him over for another man. So she that's already in her sights before Julia Stiles comes on board.
But Kerry Washington, first of all these teenagers, like, because Bianca Lawson's character is also a high schooler, because she's in PE with Kerry Washington and Julia Stiles. These bitches have their own section in the VIP. These teenagers have their own section at this nightclub.
Okay, and so Nikki and Chenille don't like each other. They seem like mortal enemies. There's the film is not sophisticated enough to do this, but there is an undercurrent of colorism going on here that no one is addressing.
I don't think this film's really doing an effective job of addressing any of the issues that would be relevant to the people in this movie.
Well, because Bianca Lawson calls Kerry Washington a Negro, and Julia Stiles steps up and says some shit.
She goes, maybe you came to the wrong spot because I'm pretty sure there are no Negroes in here. Okay.
And then because Sean Patrick Thomas is, I guess, having a choice between the very light-skinned Bianca Lawson and this white girl, no one's having that kind of a conversation that might already be his MO.
I don't think this film is, it's just not sophisticated enough.
Not at all. I mean, I guess for 2001, a studio film was cutting edge, but...
Okay, so after their first time at Steps, where Julia Stiles clearly is uncomfortable dancing, we immediately get a scene where Derek breaks into the school to go into a classroom to teach Julia Stiles how to dance hip hop. And his advice to her is act like a nasty bitch.
Yep.
And that's how you get your swag, I guess.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, but also when she's watching him do when she's watching him dance and mimicking him, it made me think of she's some kind of alien predator, like Natasha Henstridge in Species.
She's gonna mimic him and then take over his body.
That's what I was thinking. But also it doesn't make sense. Girl, you're a trained dancer. I know it's a different form, but you have no rhythm. He
also. Well, I don't know. Well,
I think it's weird that she seems so at a loss.
Well, the problem is that she's just saying because we hear her say sort of that she doesn't want to talk about her mom, and then I think we hear her tell her dad ballet is not a part of my life anymore. So I guess as the audience, we're supposed to understand that she's rejected ballet. But then, why would you go to this nightclub where you were told you're going to dance?
Yep.
And then act all weird about it?
She was dared to dance.
Then go let this man who now you have a crush on try to teach you how to dance. And then at the very end of their session that she did not perform well in, he does some James Brown kind of move where he does the splits. And then Julia Stiles, trying to be cute, does some cool ballet move. And that's when Derek's like, wait, what? And she goes, well, I dance ballet, but that's not a part of my life anymore.
I don't want to talk about it. Don't ever bring it up.
Don't ever bring it up. Don't ever ask me about my mama. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about why I'm stuck with my raggedy ass daddy and going to this crazy ass school. Okay, fine. Okay, but after that dance sequence, then we get a scene where Friedro Starr is beating up some girl in the the ladies' restroom because she hasn't paid him for some drugs she got.
That's straight out of some Linda Blair teen movie. It's
too much.
And Julia Stiles stops him and he threatens her.
Okay, this part of the story was kind of giving me Beauty and Black vibes, because we find out that Friedro Starr and Derek, they're two sides of they're opposites, right? Because Friedro's a drug dealer who doesn't care about school, and Derek he
wants to be a doctor.
He wants to go to medical school. So why are they so close? Because when they were younger, I believe they they robbed a store or something, and
they were litter mates.
And Friedro Starr took the blame for it. like he refused to snitch on Derek.
Yeah, so Derek is being loyal.
So Derek's been loyal all this time, even though he knows his friend is a menace to society.
Ooh, not a menace to society.
He is. He's poisoning his own community. Like how I don't. These are the things that I feel like someone like Derek was like spouting off about Richard Wright and like
Yes.
like when we first meet him, he seems like a very intelligent, aware individual.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're not sort of questioning this relationship you have with like your loyalty to someone who's poisoning your community.
I mean, I'd say that's probably apt to high school because all of my friends were little drug-addled menaces, and all dropped out by the time I was a senior. But
maybe,
you know,
maybe. But I just think their relationship felt so, because also it's like they're all being like they have. Friedro and Bianca have such strong feelings about this white girl.
mm-hmm.
But then we get another scene later where they're back at Steps and Bianca's trying to make Julia Stiles jealous.
See that?
So she starts dancing up on Derek, and Derek doesn't do it. Like he
like falls into a K-hole with her. Like
I would be mad as hell.
I mean, that was tacky of him to do. But also Friedro, the drug dealer, I think a better writer would have tried to manipulate Julia Stiles, Sarah, by getting her hooked on something.
Well, that's what I fully thought he was going to do.
Like he's this kind of person would probably be seeing dollar signs, not like white women are evil. These are high school students. I don't think would have such, those reactions would come a little bit later, I think.
Well, I think that they're so vehemently against her. In a way that would make me think that thered be some violence towards Julia Stiles.
Right.
Like I was fully
there
expecting her
is.
to get her.
There's a fight.
There's a fight?
Yeah, she fights Bianca in the gym.
Oh, you're right. Then they get detention. You're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, you're right. Because Bianca tells, or no, Julia, one of them says to the other after that fight and they're in detention, "It ain't over, bitch." Okay.
Well, doesn't Julia Stiles say something like, I don't even know what started this, bitch? I think that this was also parodied in The Hot Chick, which is a year later with Rob Schneider and Anna Faris and Rachel McAdams, because the main villain in that is named Bianca.
Oh.
If I recall correctly. I don't know. And then there's a dance scene that seems very similar.
Well, and then also I know Kim Wayans parodied this movie, like the scene where I don't know what movie or sketch Kim Wayans was doing, but I've seen the clip of her where she's because in this movie, when Julia Stiles first gets to her new school, the principal is walking her, or the guidance counselor, whomever, is walking her to her class and asking her, "Do you have any questions?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, now's the time.
Yes.
But Kim Wayans has the thing where she does it,
She's
and the
popping up
white girl goes, "Oh, actually," and then Kim Wayans kind of like rolls around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
The scene I'm talking about in The White Chick is to set to that Christina Milian song, AM to PM. Remember it?
Sure. Yes. Okay, I have to ask again. Why is Derek teaching Julia Stiles how to dance like it's his job?
Every day. I don't know.
Did I miss something?
I don't know. And for what?
Is it all for the function of her being able to get down at Steps?
To go to the club?
Doesn't your black ass want to get into well, you want to get into college first. I don't know why you're worried about.
And also a fake ID it's Chicago. I'm sure that there are other black bars to go to. Like no one's trying to step out in any way anywhere. Speaking of stepping,
the only moment where I felt these two had chemistry was they're riding on the train, and this old white lady is looking at Julia Stiles and Derek, and clearly she's bothered about this interracial.
She's
couple.
either bothered or turned on. I couldn't.
And so
tell
Julia
sometimes.
Stiles says to Derek, "Follow my lead," and so she starts kind of, just engaging in PDA.
Mm-hmm.
And then the old white lady is just like really bothered and gets up and leaves her seat.
Well, Derek gets into it.
And that was kind of funny, but I thought that them together in that moment was cute.
Yeah.
But that was the only time that I thought, I was very surprised when they had their fight, when they kind of split up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was that serious. I just thought he was some chump trying to teach this girl how to dance.
Well, on the train, he's taking her to a secret place, which is the ballet. And she's like, "I can't do it. I can't go in." He's like, "Well, I brought you here." And they go in.
Let me tell you something. If I was on like a date with someone who I just started dating and I spent that kind of money,
And time.
or any money.
And time.
And you're telling me we're not going? Okay. Well,
That's the last time
I'm
I've seen
going.
you.
And I'm going to ask someone to come.
Ta-ta.
Get some stranger on the street to walk in.
And then afterwards, he's like, you don't seem like you're happy. And then that's her big reveal, like, I killed my mom. I don't want to dance anymore. And then he's like, it's not your fault. And she's like, okay.
And then immediately we cut to her back at home and she puts on her ballet shoes.
Yeah, we're going to dance again. Okay.
So then they start training, and that's when Derek is telling her, like, I'm here to support you. I'll be there for you at your audition. Like, I don't know. She still seems really, I know she's a teenager, but she just seems like a little baby to me.
Well, because she is being
like,
baby.
I need someone at my audition. Okay.
Just call my name. I'm
sure people don't agree, but something about this character of Sarah, and I know it's wrong because she's a kid who just lost her mother and is forced to move to a new city and live with the dad she never knew.
But it's also unserious though. So
right, because the trauma of all of that is not apparent at all.
Because to me, that would be like the signal, like, okay, I'm getting all this pressure about dating this black guy at school. I don't know how to process that, and I'm still grieving my mother. So how does that look?
I think that's a good word. It's unserious, like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm surprised that sort of the viral segments of this film related to her dancing, like making fun of it. It's so odd that those happen because after Julia and Derek are now, I guess, a thing, and they've been practicing hip hop, they go back to steps.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Julia dancing, and I thought she looked really good. So I don't understand why subsequently when she's practicing for her audition and the actual audition, she looks so stiff and crazy.
Yeah, well, they're trying to incorporate the ballet into it. I think that who's the choreographer?
Fatima Robinson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's super talented,
yes,
prolific as a choreographer, but I just don't think that those moments work at all.
No, and especially, I haven't seen this film either, but apparently Julia Stiles was cast because of a drunken dance scene in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh,
which Thomas Carter apparently really liked. Again, yes, I need to catch up on that film too. But yeah, I don't really see the evidence of that magic here.
I think Bianca as a villain seems so weak.
Because it is. It very much is.
So you want to, because her entire purpose is to make Julia Stiles jealous. But then Julia Stiles doesn't seem like she's that into Derek. You know what he comes across as? If we would have found out in the final act that Derek is gay.
Yeah.
Because they just seem like buddies.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like the gay best friend who's helping his homegirl. Like, that's how, I mean, he doesn't read as gay, but his actions, like, so you're just trying to get your girl out, like your homegirl out to dance and teaching her. And
but why?
I just don't understand. So getting back to Free Throw Star, we get a scene where there's a drive-by shooting on a basketball court. That felt superfluous. Like,
that kind of reminded me of Freeway.
Like what?
When Bokeem Woodbine gets hemmed up.
I'm sure someone could argue that, like, the duality of these two friends and the, like the paths they're on. But again, because the movie's so unserious, it's like, I don't even think we needed Friedro's character, at least not in that capacity.
No,
I would have preferred that Derek has friends who have a problem with him dating a white girl.
Yeah, I
just don't understand the main conflict of the story, because Julia Stiles seems to have integrated herself into that school pretty well.
And
It's just the only people really ragging on her are the people who she calls her friends, and then Bianca, who's only trying to make her jealous.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see any other stress at school.
No, she seems to get along fine.
And she's mouthy. Like, Julia Stiles' character is not like some meek little girl who's crying. The few times someone tries to...
Oh, yeah, she claps back.
Claps back. So I just... Yeah. So then it's like, I would have preferred we have a character who wasn't a drug dealer in this rough ass school, and instead focus more on, like, I mean, what Kerry Washington tells Julia Stiles about knowing her place and understanding that, like, you just
like the white women come scoop up all the exceptional black men and leave them with the crumbs,
the riffraff, which, I think could be a very interesting conversation, but coming out of this high schooler,
high schooler would not put it that way.
And also, bitch, you were the one who introduced her to your brother. You're the one who ingratiated her into your circle. So it just
you also egged her on.
Right. So I don't know. That friendship seems so odd.
And also, it's like, you got this girl up in this free clinic with these screaming children. Today is not the day while I'm doing you a solid sitting here by you in this unseemly environment.
Granted, she's supposed to be a kid, and she does later say, I apologize. I was feeling away because my 60-year-old baby daddy dogged me out yet again. But after Julia Stiles gets into the fight with Bianca, because she has like a scratch on her face and a black eye or something, later that night when she's back at home, her dad's trying to administer first aid, which I thought was so funny because she got her ass whooped hours ago, and her dad's like, let's put some ice on here before it swells.
You swell up like a pumpkin. It's like, she's done all the swelling. All the swelling that's happening has happened. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This happened hours and hours ago.
She's not going to get a hematoma overnight. This is it.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
Some things work better together, like NARS's Soft Matte Complete Concealer and Radiant Creamy Concealer. Soft Matte Complete Concealer erases and blurs imperfections with full coverage. Then, Radiant Creamy Concealer evens and brightens with a luxurious texture and radiant finish. 2 concealers, 1 flawless look. Perfect for a no foundation base. NARS, better together. Visit Ulta to shop now.
So the breaking point for Julia Stiles and Derek is they get into an argument while they're practicing dance, and that's when he goes, I don't know why I bother. And I'm like, I don't know either. I don't know why this is happening.
Suddenly Epiphany Mattel has arrived. Yes.
Derek, I was for sure he was going to do something raggedy while she was auditioning.
Well, he was supposed to meet Malachi to do because Malachi is eager to do a drive-by in response to the one that was inflicted.
Retaliate.
Yeah, he's retaliation. That's the word.
And so now that Derek and Julia are not on good terms, Derek says, okay, well, I'll go with you, Friedro, to certainly get into some trouble.
After he straight up punched Friedro in the mouth at steps.
I will say I was pleasantly surprised. So he does show up, but then when Friedro says, we're going to basically do a drive-by, Derek says, no, I'm not doing that. But, and I know this is not supposed to be funny, but Friedro and his buddies go to do the drive-by. And the people they're targeting shoot at them, and they're driving this, like, I don't know what it was, like a Lincoln Continental. They hit the back of that car and it explodes. And they run into another car, and I thought for sure Friedro would be dead.
And Lip dies, and I said they got Letitia right.
Yeah, Lip dies, but Friedro's alive.
But also, this is juxtaposed with another audition for Julia Stiles. So every time she auditions, people straight up die.
Yeah.
It's very Stephen King.
By way of like vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah. Don't drive when she's auditioning for Juilliard.
Still at this point, I don't think Julia and Derek's relationship is well defined. I just didn't realize that he meant so much to her.
No, for this type of Cameron Crowe buildup where he rushes to have a moment.
Friedro, before the accident and the drive-by, he's arguing with Derek like, I'm not like you. I can't go to Georgetown with a 10.0 GPA.
And that's why.
And that's why.
Yep.
You dummy.
Yes, that they don't go up that many points, sir.
Okay.
Clearly he was exaggerating. But
so now Derek is free to go, make amends with Julia Stiles while she's auditioning. And that man runs into the auditorium, runs up on stage, all the all the people, the admissions people who are doing the auditions are yelling at him like, you cannot be in here. I was so frustrated.
They let the show go on, which seems crazy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't respect what was happening. She didn't shoot him away. Those people didn't say, you know what? Audition over. You're clearly a mess.
Yeah, don't want you at
To
our
the
school.
contrary.
They were so wowed with her hopping around.
I can't say this on the record yet, but welcome to Juilliard.
Oh.
So then after she's been admitted, we go back to steps and it's main squeeze night. Again, this is not a club for adults.
No
What
adults
is
are going
happening
there.
here?
No adults are going to main squeeze night.
This film ends so awkwardly because we see them at main squeeze night and Julia and Derek start dancing in the crowd and the movie just ends.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
There we go. That's all we have
Did
to
they
say.
ever talk about so she's going to Juilliard in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wants to go to Georgetown, which is in DC.
Yeah.
They don't ever talk about like.
No, even those dumb teens in Swim Fan are concerned with that.
Right. It's like, so even if you guys hadn't had a falling out before your reconciliation, you're both planning on not being together in like 3 months.
Right.
What's happening?
And now that she's learned all these hip hop skills, world, watch out.
Okay, I want you to read some Letterboxd comments, but the first, I wrote one down that you had said because the movie that dares to suggest, what if Julia Stiles dancing could end racism?
Yes.
But here, read us some other ones that you thought were funny.
This one made me laugh out loud. I can't believe Julia Stiles kills her mom with Suspiria dance powers. I think that's actually my favorite one. God, well, see, I wasn't prepared. Like,
I told you 48 minutes ago that I was going to ask you.
But we had already started recording. If I was her mother, I simply would have driven safely. Rest in peace to her, but I'm different.
But I'm different.
Thinking about if Lady Bird would have loved or hated this. That's kind of a deep cut because, of course, Lady Bird is set.
You'd have to know Lady Bird, yeah.
With Saoirse Ronan. Yeah, that's all I have.
Well, that wasn't as impressive as I thought.
Well, I didn't know this is a new thing. I don't know.
Well, it only really applies to movies that are questionable because they'll be funny. But the next time we do this for a film.
How lawless is Chicago that these hot teens are able to go to the dance club and order alcohol?
My goodness. Okay, what do we have in store for next week? I know that I know we're seeing Friendship.
We're supposed to see Friendship, and then there's a new Kerry Washington movie we might see.
Ugh, that looks so terrible to me.
It does. Shadow Force.
And I know we have reviews for Fight or Flight and Clown in a Cornfield dropping next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that might be it. I don't know.
That's good enough.
Is it? Well, and then Sunday I leave for Cannes.
Oh, a week from today?
A week from from today.
Okay.
So we have yet to discover how we're gonna fit some things in there. But yeah, there's a couple other things. Like David Mamet has a new film with Shia LaBeouf that I'm very interested in, for instance.
Oh, okay.
But anyway.
Are you reading anything?
I just finished the Pasolini text, Boys Alive, which I really liked. And now this week I have to read 3 different things in preparation for Cannes reviews, films, the things that were adapted.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Ta-ta.